Have you ever considered a collaboration with somebody else? Have you ever considered taking on new customers? Have you ever considered taking on new suppliers, but you're not quite sure what's going to be involved? Have you ever rushed headlong into danger in your business world? Well, when you're considering a business collaboration, working with other people, if they're friends of yours, it's really important that you practice what I call due diligence. Now, what does this term actually mean in your business and why is it so important? Now, as a business finance fixer, I'm here to clarify the idea and the concept of due diligence, explain the role that it plays, and obviously guide you as to how to conduct it effectively for any successful collaboration and avoid the heartache and disappointment of a failed collaboration. Now, what is due diligence? Now, due diligence is an established business practice that irrespective of the size that you are as a business, you should practice it. It means making sure that you investigate, validate and verify information about others before you enter into a business agreement. Due diligence applies in lots of facets of business life. We're talking mostly about collaboration in this video. It's like checking the details on a house before you go ahead and buy it. You check out the land registry, or you certainly should do. You check out for subsidence, check out for condition, check out the history before you part with cash. That should apply in a similar way in business. Due diligence ensures you understand who you're potentially partnering with, what the collaboration involves, who does what, and that is critical to do at the outset to avoid any heartaches, damage and financial catastrophes. And by the way, money is a conversation you should have at the beginning. But why is it so important? Well, it's important for a number of reasons. One of the key reasons it's important is it's a risk identification process. It's not saying you should be mistrustful about everybody, but be mistrustful. When you carry out due diligence, you identify potential risks and potential trip hazards. This could include the financial instability of the person or company you're dealing with, any legal issues that might be, ethical stances and issues that will arise, and you need to understand who you're dealing with. Don't go purely on a cosmetic of a social media ad or because you feel that you understand that person. Risk mitigation is really important in business. Why else is it important? Well, due diligence helps inform your decision making. When you've got information about your potential partner, when you've got those gaps filled in your mind, you can make informed choices whether you should proceed or perhaps the computer says no. You can judge if the collaboration aligns with your goals and values. In my business life, I've had a mixture of very bad collaborations. I've got a brilliant one now with my partner on the next big win, but we went through that process. Also, due diligence protects your interests, ensures that your interests are protected if things go belly up, which they can do and sometimes will do. It helps confirm if what your partner is saying, your collaborator as such, is true, bears up for scrutiny, and there are no hidden surprises or skeletons in that business closet. You can't just take things on face value. That idea of the mystical handshake says it all, and I like the cut of their jib, has no place in business. Trust. Trust is something you will build up by carrying out due diligence. Remember, before you make that final decision to spend your time and energy collaborating with somebody and investing potentially money and energies and sharing your business with them and they with you, you've got to have trust and transparency. And that's the real building blocks of any true, meaningful collaboration. Now, having said that, folks, what are the key areas that we should be looking at when we look at due diligence? Well, there are many, but here are some of the selected few for you. Some of the key areas: financial due diligence. Now, this isn't being said at any degree of importance here, but money is important. You've got to understand your partner's financial health. You've got to understand if they've got any money. You've got to understand if they've got access to money. Now, money may not be necessary for your collaboration to go ahead, but you need to understand what's going on. Now, understanding what those statements are, the cash flows they've got, any debts that are bubbling under the surface that you may have, they may have as well. Be honest and be transparent about them. If somebody is not prepared to share their financial stability with you, their financial history, that's probably a red flag for you. What else might you want to consider? Well, there's legal due diligence. So again, we need to be comfortable with any legal issues our collaborator or our partner might have. Depending on the size of the organisation, depending on the size of the business that you're dealing with here, it might be about issues about lawsuits that are ongoing, regulatory breaches, any intellectual property rights? Who owns what? Do they have protection? Do you have protection? Make sure there are no legal problems that will come out of that woodwork and bite you where it hurts. Now, we're not finished. We've got operational due diligence as well. We need to understand how our potential partner will operate. And I use that word partner very carefully because we're looking at a partnership as a one-off or for a combined number of projects that we're doing. We need to make sure they can actually deliver what they promise, and promises are comforts to a fool, as my wife often tells me. What we need to make sure is that the delivery is there, where the responsibilities lie, and who does what. Have those conversations at the beginning before you've invested too much time and energy. We've got to understand the position about the market as well. Where are they in their business cycle? And there are things that you can do to help you validate that. If they say that they're just a new startup, if they're not being honest about that, that's again a red flag. Now, like any form of relationships that we build, it takes time. Don't dive headlong into a collaboration without doing that due diligence. You'll thank me for it later. There's also cultural due diligence. Now, we don't have to always agree with those people that we work with. Effectively, we don't have to have the same outlook in life. But we're going to have some form of shared value, some form of style, some form of satisfaction. Now, if they've got people who are working for them and that impacts on our relationship here, we need to get a feel for what's going on. So it's a slow dance. It's not a straight diving into that, let's get married on the first date. Do things slowly, do things carefully, and be prepared to have that conversation within a tight time deadline. Now, when you are past that stages, make sure you define your scope. Are you collaborating for a one-off project, a series of projects? Do we know who's going to be doing what? Make a checklist of the documents and information that you'll need beforehand when you have those conversations, when you have those discussions. This keeps the process organised and it keeps it thorough as well. Now, documentation and data, that might be considered important, and it depends what stage of the business cycle you are both in, includes things like financial reports, legal documentation, check out their social media feed, get a feel for what they're actually like. You might call that sleuthing. For me, it's just basically making sure we stress test judgments and opinions. We can be flawed. We can be attracted by something, by what we like about somebody, and that masks and covers over deficiencies in that potential relationship. Look for inconsistencies. And if you can't have the conversation at the very beginning, by the way, and if you can't have conversations about money, you can't have conversations about the harder things in business at the beginning, then what's that going to mean as the relationship deepens and it strengthens as well? I've seen too many partnerships, relationships break up in business, whether they're one-off projects or continuous things, and people get frustrated, disappointed, angry and upset because they didn't actually check things out before they dived into that business relationship. Talk is cheap, and what we want to do is to make sure we're comfortable. Now, overall, what can we conclude? Well, we need to have some degree of risk. Sometimes it's like venturing into the unknown. We need to get something structured, something done that we can carry out the due diligence. Now, maybe if this is new to you, you can ask your accountants, your advisors to help you, assist you. If you need help in that direction, we're more than happy to help you with that. I would certainly recommend at the beginning of any conversations about collaborations that you get what's called a non-disclosure agreement structured and made out as well. That means you can have those conversations with your potential partner, your potential collaborator, in the comfort of knowing whatever you're going to be talking about is not going to be shared in the wider world. That partner might not respect that, but it gives you some minimum coverage there as well. Now, overall, with conclusion, due diligence gives confidence and gives strength to any potential collaboration going forward. It's a critical step. It's asking a question, just like you're interviewing somebody for a job, checking out the house before you buy it. Am I comfortable with what I'm hearing? Does it stack up with the evidence in front of me? Now, sometimes in life and in business, we have to take that leap of faith and think we can do all the due diligence in the world, but, we've got to just go on instinct. But I would suggest don't go in blindly to a collaboration. Make sure you've understood what's involved, the risks that are going to be for both of you, who does what, money on the table, how that's going to be shared out. Knowledge is power, and due diligence provides you with this power, ensuring that you enter a collaboration ultimately with a clear understanding and confidence. Folks, I wish you best of luck with that. Be sensible, be sanguine, be positive, and sometimes you may just have to walk away. But certainly, do not enter into a business relationship with somebody unless you've carried out some due diligence. Until next time, happy collaboration.